Spooky.
Oh my god. Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. But here we are. Again, it's Monday. Oh, no. Hey. No. Bad. And that's my review. Why do we let me do this anymore? I don't know. Hello and welcome to the final installment of this Fear Street Mania Monday, which I've just titled it. Should have come up with that 3 weeks ago, but you know what? You live, you learn. Atlantis said that, so that has to be true. And now we are at the conclusion of this Fear Street trilogy that Netflix has so graciously given us. This is the conclusion, but also the beginning of this Fear Street story. And so I'm gonna forewarn you, we are going to have spoilers for the first two movies, and then we will probably likely have some spoilers near the end. It's just, that's the nature of the game. So 1666 picks up right after 1778. These pretty standard. It's just kind of one continuous story. We have Dina. She is in the woods. She is trying to return the hand of Seraphir to the body of Seraphir, which we figured out were separated, and that maybe, and this is kind of how all the characters think the curse is going to end, but she then, reunites the body. All of a sudden, she's sucked into this kind of flashback, like very interactive flashback, and she has been taken to 1666 to a place called Union, which would later become Sunnyvale and Shadyside, and we see the origin story of this curse. I mean, you know that something's got to be up, because why would we go all the way back here if we all know the story? So, of course, there are some things that are uncovered, but we kind of see everything lead up, and you see moments that you're like, okay, it's all starting to make sense now. This is, we talked a lot in the last episode about things starting to fall into place. This really finishes that off, and you really start to see why the town is so awful. So like the last two, you definitely saw what it was, kind of harkening back to, whether it was 90s horror or 70s and 80s horror. And then you have this, and it's kind of like there are moments that feel like something like The Witch from a few years ago, but really more it's kind of like The Crucibles. It's like kind of this, we're in this old town, there are some bad accents, so we kind of see where everything, like what started it all, and then we go back to 1994, and then you get this second title card that's like Fear Street 1994 Part 2, and we see the conclusion of the whole story. So that's something that was kind of nice. It's, this was the one I was most worried about, I think, because I thought, okay, how are we going to spend so much time in 1666 and I just don't want it to spend so much time there and then quickly wrap up. I was pleasantly surprised that it kind of all came back for the last half of the movie, because that's the story we've invested in, is Dina and Sam and her brother and the sheriff, and now Ziggy, and kind of wrapping up her story. And so yeah, the last, like the first half is, it's good. It's nothing like special. It's, you have the set pieces, you have, some decent acting. Yeah, it's fine, but also it's more of a vignette, if I'd have to say anything. And then the last half of the movie is this wrap up, and you find out kind of who's behind everything and why they're doing it, and then you kind of see how they stop it. And it is just, it's just a satisfying conclusion. When you're given a guaranteed trilogy, you're given a strict vision, things play out and they nail it, and they like really nail the ending of this movie. And when you find out who the person is, I'm not going to get into it, it's a time, like you want to tell yourself that, yeah, that's pretty obvious, But at the same time, they do a moment where they look back and they kind of, you see that, oh, I should have seen it a lot earlier, not just as it's unfolding, you know, like it kind of challenges you and says, did you really know? They had that plan in place. They knew what to do to not tip their hat too much. But also where if you went back and rewatched it, you'd be like, yeah, actually, I don't know why I didn't see it coming. So that was a lot of fun, you know, and just having this kind of epic, 45 minutes to an hour of like, okay, we're in it. We're being chased by all the bad guys. We are outmanned, outgunned, and now let's just use our wits and what we've learned to take everyone down. I just love this trilogy. It really is a cool experiment in, okay, let's drop a trilogy of films right after each other and kind of see how people respond, see, how people's views of the other ones change as they watch it, because that happens normally in trilogies, but to see that kind of just happen over 3 weeks, that was really neat. I still think the second one's my favorite, but like even this one, you're just like, man, they are just like nailing these, and it shouldn't happen. And again, I think you go back to watch the first one and you're like, did I love it as much? And you still do. You just have to kind of remember, oh, it was the first one. They had a lot of heavy lifting to do right there. It has scale, but it also feels very personal, and it doesn't just, it knows what it is. And what it is a homage to things I love. And so again, I've said this every single video. If you love horror movies, you're gonna love this movie and these movies. I'm gonna rate this, and I'm gonna rate the series as a whole. So this one, I'd give it's a good, like, for me, I'm gonna go like 6.5, 7. So I'll fall like 7 out of 10. And then as a series altogether, working together, I'd give the Fear Street series trilogy, Fear Street trilogy, like a solid, like 8 out of 10. I love these movies. And yeah, I can't wait to rewatch them again. And I'm excited. You know what? Reverse that. Let's go back for a second. I'm going to add one more point to my final score. So we're going to go a 9 out of 10. And that one extra point is just for giving the Pixies the love they so deserve in movies. Man, 3 Pixie songs, incredible. And they're all from Dolittle. Incredible. I love it. Put more Pixie songs in movies, please. And thank you. Hey.
Un esercito di pro